Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, I'll tell you what. Going kind of good here, I'll tell you. The weather is really, really hot. I mean, we're talking in excess of 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is putting the heat index or real field temperature or whatever you want to call it up in the neighborhood of 105 to 110, and that can be very problematic and uncomfortable, and it makes me very thankful that this place is air conditioned and we've got ceiling fans in most of the rooms, so yeah, not a problem there. Anyway, yes, it's true that it's been like, well, by now over a week since the last video, the last vlog, and I went almost that long without a video on the game channel. However, this morning a new episode of TFC Plays Direwolf 20 Season 7 pack went live. I expect to have a new Hermitcraft episode soon, and you know, that's good. And here, as you might be able to tell from the rock steady solidity of the image and steadiness, is the fact that once again I am doing my thing via camcorder mounted properly on a tripod instead of holding the blasted thing and so on. Yeah, really appreciate being back to doing that and having my little remote here for the camcorder to start and stop and so forth. Yeah. In any event, the reason that I hadn't been doing much is for a lot of the last week or so, there'd been a few times of having to run around and do things, and just in general, I didn't feel up to much at all. And so I have taken the advice of so many people down through the years that if you don't feel up to doing something, and you don't absolutely positively have to, then don't do it. To give yourself a break, you know? And so that's what I did. I gave myself a break and just kind of took it easy and chilled out. Spent some time reading, mining, doing off-camera mining and stuff. And yeah, in my reading, I have run into something. I run into it all the time, actually, especially reading fan fiction, because authors of fan fiction literally all over the world, you know, although mostly from either the US or Europe, or like up around the Netherlands and Nova Scotia and stuff like that. And there is some subtle little differences in the way folks that are not from here in the good old US of A, the way such folks will write. And that is because they write dialogue the way they talk. Because the way they talk is completely natural to them. And there's nothing at all, nothing even remotely wrong with that. It's just that it's different. And what throws me about it is when somebody from, say somebody from Europe is writing a character that is an American character. I mean, the character itself is American, in an American situation, like characters in an American TV show. And you have, like, for example, Southern California people, native Southern Californians, characters, saying things like car park and lift, referring to bonnets, boots, and stuff like that. And that does, believe it or not, that does confuse a few people. But it's easy to translate. Once you learn a little bit, if you pay attention to the context, you can usually figure it out. Like, for example, the bonnet of a car. It's the hood. Yeah. The boot, also when referring to a car. That's what we Americans refer to as the trunk. Yeah. It sounds kind of strange, and I can't understand why anybody would refer to that as a boot. I don't have no idea how that was referred, how that originated. Obviously it did, and obviously that's the way that is referred to in many other parts of the world. But it throws people off. I know the first time I heard about somebody putting something in a boot, I'm going, what in the world are you putting it in a boot for? Isn't that going to make it kind of hard to wear the boot? Yeah. And anyway, well, things like, okay, they talk about a lift. That's basically European English speak for elevator. Now, personally, I would prefer to use the word elevator, because lift is a properly descriptive term that says what the thing does. But elevator says what it is, which also describes what the thing does, because it lifts or elevates the people and stuff inside it from one floor to another. And, well, let's see. I've got a list here, is why I'm peeking over here. Okay, another one. Car park. That's a parking lot. Although it really throws me, even when I'm used to it, reading an author I'm accustomed to reading, and see him have American characters say things like car park. Because Americans don't call it a car park. Again, it's a functional description, but so is the word parking lot, or the term parking lot. Yeah. And here's one that, this one really gets me, because I don't think I've ever heard a Native American English speaking person use this one, and that is when referring to their mother, they will say mum, M-U-M. And I've never heard an American say that. American will say mom or mother or something like that, but they won't say, I've never heard one say mum. It's a thing, you know, and it's, again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people writing that way, because they're writing the way they talk. Personally, if I was writing a British or European character, then I would do the best I could to write their dialogue the way such a character would natively speak. It makes sense to me. And you know, if I'm writing American characters, which primarily I kind of is what I do, then I'm going to write them the way those characters write, the way they talk. Yeah. Another one. An apartment, referred to as being a flat. First time I heard that or read that, my thought was, a flat what? What is it that is flat? I don't get that. I have no idea where that came from. Not even a clue. Okay. I'll ring him, which is, I'll call him. To ring somebody is to call them. Yeah. The post. It's the mail. Yeah. And then there's things like spelling armor or color with a U. Believe it or not, that throws me. Of course, when I see that, my first reaction is to do it in a European or British kind of accent. And that's dead wrong when the character is an American. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, there's nothing wrong with these things. That just kind of really stand out to me. I don't know if they, you know what, tell me, does that kind of thing stand out to you? It really does to me. Anyway, I'm rambling, I'm starting to go all over the place, and OMG, 10 minutes of footage. Time to shut up and say thanks for watching, take it easy, I am out of here.
Here's the TinFoilChef.